Physics Toolbox Sensor Suite takes advantage of all the sensors that are already inside of your mobile device, your smartphone, your tablet, or even your Chromebook, and allows you to collect the data, record it, visualize it, and analyze it a little bit. So one of the ways that you can find out what kind of sensors that you have inside of your smartphone is to take a look at the specifications sheet of your hardware, or just to simply click on any of the sensors and you'll get a little pop-up notification if you happen to not have that. So right now you can see we are on G-force. It's collecting data in 3 dimensions and also gives the overall total G-force. One of the things that you're able to do is to change the way that you display this data. So by clicking in the upper right on the settings button, you're able to take a look at what axes you want displayed. So in this case, perhaps I'm only interested in the x-axis. And another thing that you can do to make things a little bit easier for you is to change the thickness of the line width. And you can also change the sensor collection rate and a number of other different things. So going back, you'll now see that it looks a little bit differently, and we're only displaying data in 1 dimension. Every sensor might have slightly different settings, so make sure that you explore those. The G-force meter and the accelerometer also have the option to calibrate in case you don't happen to get appropriate 0 or value of 1 readings for G-force when it's sitting at rest. Another thing you can do is to record the data, and all you have to do is press the red button. You'll see the notice data recording has started, and when you are done collecting that data, simply push the stop button. You can give yourself a file name, so in this case I'll just call it test. And once that data is there, you have a couple of options. It's immediately saved to the SD card, but if you want, you can also save it to yourself in an email, send it to your drive, and it will be exported as a CSV file, which stands for comma-separated values. One of the issues, though, that you might find is if you're in a country where you use the comma as a delimiter, it might cause you problems because perhaps you use the period symbol or the dot or the point in the way that many other countries use the comma. So you're certainly able to go in here and to use a semicolon as a delimiter. Just make sure you do that before you actually start your recording. In addition to that, depending upon the reasons for your data collection, you might opt to choose clock time, which is your current local time, as opposed to elapsed time, which most scientists are probably more likely to use, although not always. Another thing that you can do with the data display, for example, is for things that perhaps don't have data that's changing a significant amount, and you'd like to see that data displayed in a different format. Here we have it as a graph, but under the settings for this, you're able to display a digital readout. So for example, this might be more helpful if you're working with young students or if you simply are interested in the present moment's value. And you can always press the pause button to hold that so that you can manually record data if you need to do that. In addition, because the data that you've recorded has been saved to the SD folder, you can always click on the folder icon and you are able to select any of those and export them if you want to send them to a different user, to a different account, etc. Currently, we don't have the ability to redisplay this data in graphical format inside of Physics Toolbox Suite, but that's something we likely will provide soon in the future on our Pro version. In addition to that, there are a number of different types of generators. So sensors collect data from the external world, but we also have generators that might be helpful. Many people use tone generators, and in this case, instead of the microphone receiving information, it's actually, there's a little speaker that is producing a tone in this case. And so take a look at all those different things. Now for every single one of our sensors and our generators, there is a little I button which stands for information. It provides information about what this sensor generator does, how it works, so the physics behind it, and we also have included some additional resources which are links to outside websites, video clips, for example, that explain visually and in text how these different types of things work. It's really quite fascinating. I hope you find this interesting, and we certainly hope that you find this tool useful. If you'd like more information, including access to a newsletter, blogs, and even a whole bunch of lesson plan templates and additional lesson ideas, please visit vierasoftware.net. That's VIEYRA software.net, and follow us on Twitter at Physics Toolbox.